Okay, we're going to go ahead and look at this practice problems on simplifying rationals. In your notes, it did point out the first thing you needed to do to simplify rationals was to get them factored. So some of these first problems, they've kind of factored them for you. So if you look at that first one, they have rewritten that 5x squared as a 5 times x squared. That multiplication was implied or understood to begin with. And on the denominator, they've taken what used to be a 10x plus 15, and they factored out the 5 and made a 2x plus 3. Now you notice they've canceled out the 5's, and they've given you the answer of x squared over 2x plus 3. For number 2, they factored it out as well. This time they could take a 2 out because 2a divided by 2 was a, and 10 divided by 2 was 5. So that's how they've taken out a GCF out of the denominator. And then you can cancel out your 2's, and you're left with an a squared over a plus 5. Now, it's worth mentioning that you cannot cancel out these a's. The reason you cannot is, as I put in your notes, if you have things that are added or subtracted, this a on the denominator cannot cancel because it's being added to the 5. An a that's being multiplied could cancel. An a that's being added or subtracted cannot. So anything that you cancel has to be being multiplied by something, either by a parenthesis or an implied multiplication like the 2 and the a squared. And that will help you to know when you can cancel and when you can't. Number 3, they factored a 4 out of the top, a 4 out of the bottom, and this time it's the 4's that cancel, and your final answer would be x plus 3 over 2x minus 7. On number 4, you can cancel out the entire 3x. So if you can take a GCF out with a variable as well, please do that, and then that'll leave you with the answer 2x plus 3 over y minus 4x. For number 5, they've taken a GCF out of x out on top, a 5 out on the bottom, leaving the x plus 3, and the x plus 3's this time cancel. This illustrates that sometimes you can actually cancel the parenthesis if the entire parenthesis matches, and your answer would be x over 5. Go ahead and try those next few problems, and then we'll go over their answers and then continue on to the next section. Okay, what I'm going to do now for number 6 is the x plus 4's cancel, so you should have a 1 over 2. For number 7, your answer should be 3 over. Okay, as we look at this next section, the primary difference is that you have to actually factor. They didn't factor for you. So just kind of get in your head, a 3y is the same thing as 3 times y. And on the denominator, they show you to take out a 3, and when you divide out a 3, you're left with a y plus 2. So that cancels out. The 3's will cancel. And I'm left with a y over y plus 2. And the y's will not cancel because this y on the bottom is being added or subtracted, so I cannot cancel those y's. That is your final answer. On number 10, they show you to divide out if you can't divide anything else out, you can think of dividing out a 1. So that's just an x minus 6. And on the bottom, if you divide by 2x, you have an x minus 6. And your x minus 6's cancel. And that leaves you with a 1 over 2x. Now, it is important to realize if everything cancels out in the numerator, you do have to leave an understood 1 in that numerator because otherwise it would not be a fraction at all. It's just like if I had something like 1/2, I would have to leave the 1. Whereas if I end up with a 1 on the bottom, 2 over 1, you would not have to leave the 1. So a 1/2, the 1 has to stay there. The 2 over 1, the 1 is optional. You could write it as just a plain 2 if you wanted to. But anytime everything in the numerator cancels, be sure to fill it in that way. Go ahead and try a few more of these, and I'll help you with 1 or 2 more.